Good morning, Caitlin. How are you?
Morning. I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm good, thank you. You know what? I got here this morning. I printed out your docket last week, and I was like, okay, I'm, going through it. And then I'm thinking, wait, this is a pretty heavy docket, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. We'll
I
see
I
what
was
shows up.
yeah, I know, that's what I'm thinking too. I was really surprised.
Me too, especially as a makeup docket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you're co-host and you can do whatever you want now.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You bet. Morning, Jeff.
Morning, how are you?
I'm super duper. How about you?
How all them babies? Everybody good?
Oh, thank you for asking. Yeah, they're good. Yeah, they
Well,
they
every
make
time I look at you, I think about babies now.
they make life pretty cool, don't they?
Oh, well, it's a new dimension, I'll tell you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Hey, I just made you co-host, so you're ready to roll.
All right, now I'm in the building, obviously. I can't move myself around. I can join different rooms, but I suppose I'm just a little limited when I'm here.
I didn't catch it last part. I'm sorry, Jeff.
I guess I'm in the building. I have it like an iPad, so there's only certain things I can do.
You can't move around.
I can move myself around.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
think I can move other people around.
Okay. All right. I'll try to help you.
Yeah, if you would just, I think I can go into my waiting room and meeting room. I just can't put people in there with me. As long as they're waiting there, I can talk to them. Is that confusing enough for you, Marianne?
Well, good morning, Mr. Nunley. How's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Hey, did the kids have yesterday off?
They have all week off.
Oh,
It's their like midwinter break thing. So Zeke's in Mexico and Mia's with her grandma today.
Who's in Mexico?
Zeke, my son.
No
He's
way.
Yeah, lucky him, right?
Oh my God, no kidding. Where in Mexico?
They went to Cancun,
Oh,
but
just the two of them?
now with his stepdad. So his stepdad, his mom, and him are there. But
Very cool.
on Friday, he came down with influenza A. So he
No.
felt really bad Friday, really bad Saturday. Then he had to get up at 2 a.m. on Sunday to go catch the plane. But
Oh, how
yeah,
old is he?
he's 11. He'll be 12 next
Oh,
month.
jeez, oh man, I'm sorry. Oh,
Well, apparently he's feeling better. They gave him that Terraflu stuff that's supposed to
oh
like knock
yeah.
it out, and I think it worked. Like
Yeah.
once it's
Oh,
about
good.
24 hours in his system, like it seemed like, it really helped.
Oh, I hope so. Poor guy.
I know, right?
Yeah. Hey, are you here for Josh or are you here on something of your own?
I'm filling in for Josh.
Okay, I created his room already, so you're gonna be Hadley today.
Okay.
All right.
Dreams really do come true. I get to be Josh for a day.
Oh my God. I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for my morning lap.
No problem.
Good morning, sir, who's in Macomb. Are you Mr. Penroll?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Sir, do you wish to speak with an in-house attorney this morning?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, Royce, are you ready with Miss Nelson?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
We're just looking for a final pretrial.
Okay, the judge is on her way out. She'll call the case, but it's gonna be March 14th at 10:20.
Okay, it's Dan Batar's case, so I will let him know March 14th at 10:20, you said?
Yeah, yep,
Got it. With Judge Martin?
yes, yep, and she'll be out in 2 seconds to call the
Okay,
case.
thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Nunley,
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm fine. Long time no see, brother.
I know, right?
Everything good?
Slumming it here with you guys.
Hey, you big time guys, you gotta come back to earth once in a while.
Oh, I know. I've just had like the worst luck with my schedule lately. I've had to give away the last 3 or 4 shifts that I've had. That's why you haven't seen me.
Brother, you can't apologize for being busy, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have to apologize to my family for being busy quite often because they don't see me for weeks at a time.
Is it you and I and Josh Hadley today?
I'm filling in for Josh Hadley.
Oh, so it's you and I.
Just you and I.
We'll whip right through this. The only thing I can't accomplish is moving people around.
Yeah. Hey,
But
Jeff, are you in the court live on?
yes,
No, not today. Are you there live tomorrow at 1 p.m. by any chance?
no. I'm here live on Thursday.
Thursday.
I'll be in the Heights tomorrow. Doing a lot of work out of the Heights. I don't know what's up with their MIDC. They call me all the time.
Really?
That Southgate, but I love Southgate.
I've only been in Southgate one time. It was fine. It was a good experience, but it was like years ago on a retained case.
Just be mindful. You go there now, your clients will bring a toothbrush.
Mm.
Judge Mullins,
Tough.
she'll put him in jail.
Mm.
No, I'm not. I think she's fair.
Judge, Mr. Nunley's ready on Miss Nelson.
I know, I was letting Mr. Bowditch and Mr. Nunley have their conversation though.
Oh, Your Honor, I'm sorry. We digress.
No. Mr. Bowditch is fine. Don't be sorry. I was entertained by Mr. Nunley's coworker walking past, and I'm sure Ms. Foley Carter has the same issue with her 2 coworkers.
Yeah,
Yeah. Where you go?
that's why I come into court. There's no distractions.
He goes from office to office because everybody has treats for him in their office, and he'll go from one office to the next office all day long.
Those are the best kind of distractions.
Mm.
These are 23 HR 10787 B, A, B, and C. These are Huron Township versus Nelson. May I have your appearances, please?
Here on Township.
Good morning, Your Honor. Royce Nunley appearing on behalf of the defendant, Aminia Nelson, standing in for the attorney of record, Daniel Batar. We've had an opportunity to speak, Your Honor, and Ms. Nelson is requesting one final pretrial so that she can take care of 2 clearances, one out of Detroit and one out of Southfield. I believe that Ms. Foley Carter graciously agreed to allow her one final pretrial.
That is true.
Ms. Nelson, would you state your name for me, please?
Amina Nelson.
Thank you, Ms. Nelson. We'll set that final pretrial.
March 14th, Judge, at 10:20.
March 14th at 10:20. Ms. Nelson, notice will be mailed to you at the address that you verified with court staff, okay?
Yes.
Anything else, Ms. Foley Carter?
Nothing more. Thank you.
Anything else, Mr. Nunley?
Nothing further, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Nelson, you're free to go. You have a great day.
Thank you, y'all as well.
Thank you.
Your Honor, we're ready on Wendy Winter.
Two four HR 00955 A and B, Huron Township versus Wendy Winter. May I have your appearances, please?
Good
Caitlin,
morning, Your Honor. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Caitlin Foley Carter and be Huron Township, Your Honor.
Good morning, Your Honor. Mark Gilbert, P71034 for Ms. Winter, who's obviously present via Zoom.
Ma'am, state your name for me, please.
Wendy Winter.
Thank you. Mr. Gilbert, how are we proceeding in these matters?
Your Honor, the prosecutor and I have had a chance to confer actually over the last 10 days or so. We've agreed that we will amend the charge of driving on revoked suspended to allowing an unlicensed driver to drive, and we will dismiss the impeding.
Thank you. Ms. Winter, raise your right hand for me, please, ma'am. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes,
Thank you. You may put your hand down. Ma'am, you've had the opportunity to speak to your attorney. You understand the charges you face and the possible penalties.
I do.
And after having that conversation, is it your understanding and agreement that you'll be tendering a plea of guilty to the added count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive and the other matters will be dismissed?
Yes, I do.
And ma'am, you understand that if the court accepts your plea this morning, you will not have a trial of any kind.
Right. Yes,
You will not have the opportunity to present witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine witnesses put forth by the prosecutor.
yes, I understand.
And you're entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
I am.
You haven't been threatened in any way, promise anything to get you to plead guilty?
No.
Are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
Yes,
Ma'am, is it true that on January 24, 2024 in Huron Township, you allowed an unlicensed driver to drive?
that is true.
Thank you. Satisfied, Ms. Foley Carter?
Satisfied, Your Honor. Thank you.
Satisfied, Mr. Gilbert?
I am, Your Honor.
Ma'am, the court accepts your plea of guilty to the added count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive and will dismiss the original driving while license suspended and the impeding traffic. Mr. Gilbert, is there anything you'd like to say on behalf of your client before fines and costs are imposed in this matter?
Sure. It's worth the court's noting that my client is currently pursuing a DLAD restoration. I actually provided the prosecutor with documentation regarding that last week. So she is taking affirmative steps to rectify the situation.
Does she have matters outstanding in other courts?
I don't believe so, Your Honor, Ms. Winter.
No, I do not.
Mr. Gilbert, the court will impose minimal fines and costs in this matter. There's a $100 fine, $100 in costs. There's $75 mandatory crime victims fee. There's $50 mandatory state costs and $20 fund fee. That's $345. Does your client need more than 5 days to pay that amount?
I do not.
5 days to pay and this matter will be resolved. Anything else, Ms. Foley Carter?
Nothing, Your Honor. Thank you.
Anything else, Mr. Gilbert?
I will note, Your Honor, our notice of hearing said 8:40. It is 8:41. So that's congratulations on the hyper efficiency of this court.
You thank Ms. Foley Carter for that. Ms. Winter, good luck to you, ma'am. You can pay, you're able to pay online or you may pay in person. If you pay online, you just need your citation number or your driver's license information, okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Have a good day. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Hey, Jeff, there are several people in the waiting room.
This is 20HR 04349B. This is Huron Township versus Kyle Pennell. May I have your appearances, please?
Roy-
Pennell, Your Honor.
Royce Nunley appearing on behalf of the defendant, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Nunley. Today was a day and time scheduled for the arraignment and pretrial in this matter. How are we
Yes.
proceeding?
So, my client, would like to plead guilty as charged. He was hoping that the court would consider time served. He's already been in there 4 or 5 months in the Macomb County Jail. He says that he's hoping to get out in, another 6 or 7 months. He is now trying to clear up like any sort of outstanding traffic, matters that he has. He said that he was there in front of the court last week, taking care of 2 other issues on maybe out of a different jurisdiction. And indicated to me that the court indicated that it would likely give him time served on any matter that was up for today. All that being said, which was a mouthful, he plans on pleading guilty as charged.
I don't know if it matters, Royce, but I was going to amend it to fail to display a valid driver's license.
He would like to plead guilty as charged to failure to display a valid license.
Sounds good.
Now, would you raise your right hand for me, please, sir? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. You may put your hand down. Sir, you had the opportunity to speak to Mr. Nunley this morning. You understand the charges you face and the possible penalties.
Yes, ma'am.
And after having that conversation, sir, it's your understanding and agreement that you'll be tendering a plea of guilty to failing to display a valid license.
Yes, ma'am.
And sir, you understand that if the court accepts your plea this morning, you will not have a trial of any kind.
Yes, ma'am.
You will not have the opportunity to present witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine witnesses put forth by the prosecutor.
Yes, ma'am.
And sir, you're entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes, ma'am.
You haven't been threatened in any way, promised anything to get you to plead guilty?
No, ma'am.
Are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
Could you say that one more time?
I said, are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Pennell, is it true that on May 30th, 2020 in Huron Township, you failed to display a valid license when asked to do so by law enforcement?
Yes, ma'am.
Satisfied, Ms. Foley Carter?
Satisfied, Your Honor. Thank you.
Satisfied, Mr. Nunley?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sir, the court will accept your plea of guilty to the added count of failing to display and will dismiss the original driving while license suspended. This file had been in warrant status. That warrant has been recalled as indicated by Mr. Nunley. What the court will do at this time is give you credit for time served and close this file out. Was there something else, Mr. Nunley?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Then, Mr. Pennell,
Yes,
credit
ma'am.
for time served, and we'll close the file out, and that will conclude this matter with the court. You have some other
Okay.
matters, sir, that it appears that you owe money, $753 for some other driving cases.
Yes, ma'am.
If there's nothing else, Mr. Pennell, good luck to you, sir.
Okay, thank you. You too. Have a good day.
You too.
Hey, Judge, for dispo reasons, how many days should I put down on that?
30 days.
Okay, thank you.
The only weird thing is, I don't know that you can waive that $45.
That's correct.
This is 20 0115OT. This is Huron Township versus Elizabeth Wilt. Please state your name for the record.
Your Honor,
Elizabeth, oh, sorry.
go ahead, ma'am.
Elizabeth Wilt.
Thank you, ma'am. That would have been my first question. Ma'am, for the record, Jeffrey Bowditch appearing on behalf of and with Miss Wilt. Your Honor, as far as the arraignment, we waive formal reading and stand mute. We do have an executed agreement where Miss Wilt is going to be pleading guilty to the charge of providing false information to a police officer back in 2020.
Thank you. Ms. Wilt, would you raise your right hand for me, please, ma'am? Do you swear
Yes.
or affirm that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. You may put your hand down.
Yes,
You've had
ma'am.
the opportunity to speak to Mr. Bowditch, and you understand the charges you face and the possible penalties.
Yes, ma'am.
And after having that conversation, ma'am, is it your understanding and agreement that you'll be pleading guilty as charged to giving false information to the police officer?
Yes, ma'am.
And ma'am, you understand that if the court accepts your plea this morning, you will not have a trial of any kind.
Yes, ma'am.
You will not have the opportunity to present witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine witnesses put forth by the prosecutor.
Yes, ma'am.
And ma'am, you're entering this plea freely and voluntarily.
Absolutely, yes.
You haven't been threatened in any way, promised anything to get you to plead guilty.
Nothing whatsoever.
Are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, is it true that on January 16th, 2020 in Huron Township, you encountered law enforcement, they asked for your name and you gave the name of your sister, Ms. Dawn Marie Puckett?
Yes, ma'am.
And you understood at that time that that was false information to the police?
Yes, I did.
Satisfied, Ms. Foley Carter?
Satisfied, Your Honor. Thank you.
Satisfied, Mr. Bowditch?
Satisfied, Your Honor.
Ma'am, the court accepts your plea of guilty as charged to giving false information to the police. This file had been in warrant status since January of 2020 based on your failure to appear.
Your Honor, if I
Sir,
might interject, it's germane. Miss Witt was just released from a 2-year prison term, January 9th of this year. She is presently on parole, will be on parole until January of 2025. Correct, Miss Wilt?
Yes, sir.
thank you, Mr. Bowditch. Anything else before fines and costs are imposed in this matter?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Wilt, the court will impose the following. There's a fine of $100. There's cost of $100. There is a $75 crime victims fee. There's a $50 mandatory state cost, $20 fund fee, and a $50 warrant fee for failing to appear previously. That's $395. Ma'am, what you are able to do is you may call the court's collection department to set up a payment plan in this matter. There's a clerk available right now if you would like to speak to her, or you can go
Yes.
online to the court's website. You can submit a payment request that way. You have time
Okay.
to go speak to a clerk right now, ma'am?
Yes, I do.
We'll get you moved into the room with Maria from the collections department. She'll set you on a payment plan for this $395. Anything else in this matter, Ms. Foley Carter?
Nothing, Your Honor. Thank you.
Anything else, Mr. Bowditch?
Nothing, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Wilt, please follow the directions to go speak with Maria.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Have a great day.
You too, thank you. Hmm. Mhm. This is 23 HR 11888C, Huron Township versus Sakina Harper. This case was scheduled for show cause. Huh. Well, Mary Ann, it looks like the notice for this case went out as a sentencing, which it should not be. It should be show cause arraignment pretrial. Mary Ann,
Yes, ma'am. Yeah,
would you rename yourself and give me please I need to add a show cause arraignment pretrial. The case we had scheduled at 8 o'clock is listed as a sentencing and it should not be. It should be show cause arraignment pretrial.
and I'm sorry, you wanted a date for a show cause?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna call Mackenzie real quick.
You just give me the actual next Huron date. I'll just put it on at 8 o'clock on that day,
Yeah,
or 8:30. on
I
that
just
day.
thought the same thing. I'm like, what am I doing? March 14th at 8 o'clock.
Thank you. This is 23 HR 055440M Huron Township versus Gary Huddleston. May I have your appearances, please?
Your Honor, for the record, Jeffrey Bowditch appearing on behalf of and with Mr. Huddleston. Mr. Huddleston, could you tell the judge your name for the record, please?
My name's Gary Huddleston Jr.
Thank you, sir. Your Honor, we would waive formal reading at the arraignment phase. We also have a plea. Well, we have a plea. Mr. Huddleston wishes to plead no contest to the charge of possession of narcotic paraphernalia. The no contest plea, Your Honor, is based on no memory of the particular incident. He's not going to fight these charges. I don't believe he denies these charges, but he doesn't really have any independent memory. Your Honor, I believe we could use the ticket to establish the plea.
Thank you. Mr. Bowditch, just so the record's clear, this case has been in warrant status based on Mr. Huddleston's failure to appear back on June the 22nd, 2023. That warrant is being recalled. Mr. Huddleston, raise your right hand for me, please, sir. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
So help me God.
Thank
Yes,
you,
ma'am.
sir. You may put your hand down. You had the opportunity to speak to Mr. Bowditch. You understand the charges you face and the possible penalties.
Yes, ma'am.
And after having that conversation, sir, it's your understanding and agreement that you'll be tendering a plea of guilty as charged to possession of drug paraphernalia.
No contest, Your Honor.
Oh, I'm sorry. You'll be pleading no contest, sir, to possession of drug paraphernalia.
Yes, Your Honor.
And sir, you understand that if the court accepts your plea this morning, you will not have a trial of any kind.
Absolutely, Your Honor.
You will not have the opportunity to present witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine witnesses put forth by the courthouse. I'm sorry, by witnesses put forth by the prosecutor.
I completely understand, Your Honor.
And sir, you're entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
Absolutely, Your Honor.
You haven't been threatened in any way, promising anything to get you to plead no contest?
Not at all, Your Honor.
And sir, Mr. Bowditch has indicated that the court may rely on the citation issued to you for the factual basis for your plea in this matter. So just so the record is clear, the citation provides that there's an offense date of March 28, 2023, at which time Huron Township Police found you in possession of drug paraphernalia. Sir, you don't have any objection to the court receiving the terms of the citation for the basis of your plea?
No, Your Honor.
Then, Mr. Huddleston, the court at this time will accept your plea of no contest to the charge in this case. Mr. Bowditch, was there anything you wanted to say on Mr. Huddleston's behalf before fines and costs are imposed in this matter?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Huddleston is presently housed at the Salvation Army in rehabilitation, the Salvation Army on 4th Street. He's been there since December 26th. He's going to be a resident there until June 27th. He's enthusiastically involved in his recovery, and he's taking care of old matters as we speak.
Thank you. That being the case, at this time, Mr. Huddleston, the court will impose the following. $100 fine, there's $100 cost, there's $75 mandatory crime victims fee, there's $50 show cause fee, $50 warrant fee, $50 mandatory state cost, and $20 fund fee. That's $445. I heard Mr. Bowditch's indication that you are in a program, sir. Hold on one second.
I don't have anything for the agenda.
Already done it. Mary Ann has it. Mr. Huddleston, my apologies for the interruption, but sir, based on the fact that you are seeking services right now, if you are unable to establish a payment plan in this matter, there are other alternatives to address some of the fines and costs imposed in this matter. There's community service available. Or upon your discharge from Salvation Army, you can contact the court's collection department and set a payment plan. How did you wish to proceed with the settlement of the fines and costs in this matter?
The community service would be after I'm discharged from my program.
Yes, sir.
Can we set that up? And then if I happen to be too busy because I have a job, we have programs where we get jobs ready before we discharge. So if I can't do the community service, can I then contact the court to do collections? But I would like to do.
And Mr. Huddleston, what I'll ask you to do is then be in communication with the court about addressing these matters, whether it is through payment plan or through community service.
Okay. Yes, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
Anything else, Mr. Bowditch?
No, Your Honor. He would make those arrangements in June when he's released.
Yes, sir. If you're discharged before that, sir, or if you're in a position to make payment arrangements, contact the court's collection department.
Absolutely.
Thank
Thank
you,
you
Ron.
very, very much.
Thank you, Mr. Huddleston.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate
You're
you.
welcome.
Yes, sir. Bye.
Mary Ann,
Yes.
Michelle was looking for 20HR043449 BOT. That was Kyle Pennell. The
Yep.
indication is that there was a global resolution reached last week that should have included this case. If that is the case, we'll amend the ROA to reflect what the terms of that agreement and plea were.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. These are 23HR 13898 A, B, and C. These are Huron Township versus Gary Burka. May I have your appearances, please?
Caitlin Foley Carter and Bishop Huron Township, Your Honor.
And good morning, Your Honor. Alex Giuliani appearing on behalf of Gary Burka, who is in my conference room, and we consent to this hearing via Zoom.
Thank you, sir. State your name for me, please.
Gary John Burka.
Thank you, Mr. Burka. Today is the day and time scheduled for the arraignment, pre-trial, and pre-hearing in these matters. Ms. Giuliani, how are we proceeding this morning?
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, for purposes of the arraignment, we'll waive formal reading, and my client would stand mute to the charge.
Mr. Burka's bond in this matter will be set at 5,000 personal. Sir, you do not need to post any money, but what you must do is continue to appear and participate in these proceedings until these matters are resolved in their entirety. As the allegations indicate that you are operating while intoxicated or allege that you are operating while intoxicated and refuse the PBT. Condition of your bond is that you not purchase, possess, consume any alcoholic beverages until further order of this court or until this matter is resolved in its entirety. For purposes of pretrial, Ms. Giuliani, how are we proceeding?
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, Ms. Foley Carter and I have worked out a resolution, and Mr. Burka is going to be pleading to a reduced charge of operating while visibly impaired, and the 2 civil infractions that are attached are going to be dismissed.
Thank you. Mr. Burka, raise your right hand for me, please, sir. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you, sir. You may put your hand down. You had the opportunity to speak to your attorney this morning, and you understand the charges you face and the possible penalties.
Yes.
And after having that conversation, sir, it's your understanding and agreement that you will be tendering a plea of guilty to the added count of operating while visibly impaired, and the original charge will be dismissed along with the 2 civil infractions.
Yes.
And sir, you understand that if the court accepts your plea this morning, you will not have a trial of any kind.
Yes.
You will not have the opportunity to present witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine witnesses put forth by the prosecutor.
I fully understand.
And sir, you understand that you're entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
I am. Yes.
You haven't been threatened in any way, promised anything to get you to plead guilty?
No, Your Honor.
Are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Burka, is it true that on December 13, 2023 in Huron Township, you operated a motor vehicle while you were visibly impaired?
Unfortunately, this is true, Your Honor.
Satisfied, Ms. Foley Carter?
Satisfied, Your Honor. Thank you.
Satisfied, Ms. Giuliani?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Burka, the court accepts your plea of guilty to the added count of operating while visibly impaired, the operating while intoxicated, and the PBT refusal and the speeding 16 to 20 over the posted limit are dismissed. Because this is a drinking and driving offense, sir, the next step in these proceedings is that the matter will be referred to probation for an interview and the development of a sentence recommendation. Probation will reach out to you by phone and by email. Please respond to their efforts to be in contact and communication with you. Once that recommendation is complete, they will schedule the matter for sentencing. You will come back here to courtroom number 1 and sentence will be imposed. Anything else in this case, Ms. Foley Carter?
Nothing, Your Honor. Thank you.
Anything else, Ms. Giuliani?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Burka, good luck to you, sir. I will see you at sentencing. Have a good day.
Thanks, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Ms. Foley
You're
Carter.
welcome. This is 2 HR 07118B. This is Huron Township versus Joshua Kyle.
And good morning, Your Honor. Joseph Hall, appearing for and on behalf of Mr. Kyle, who appears via Zoom without objection today.
Mr. Kyle, state your name for the record, please.
Joshua Matthew Ronnie Kyle.
Thank you, sir. Today is the day and time scheduled for the pretrial. Mr. Hall, how are we proceeding this morning?
Your Honor, we've reached a full resolution with the people whereby Mr. Kyle would plead guilty to the added count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive. In exchange for a guilty plea there, the people would be dismissing the driving while license suspended. Mr. Kyle is aware, Judge, that he's got 2 defaulted tickets with Your Honor's court. He's going to make good on those as well.
Thank you. Mr. Kyle, raise your right hand for me, please, sir. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. You may put your hand down. Sir, you had the opportunity to speak to Mr. Hall, and you understand the charges you face and the possible penalties.
Yes, Your Honor.
And after having that conversation, is your understanding that you'll be tendering a plea of guilty this morning to the added count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you understand that if the court accepts this plea, you will not have a trial of any kind.
Yes, Your Honor.
You will not have the opportunity to present witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine witnesses put forth by the prosecutor.
Yes, Your Honor.
And sir, you're entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes, Your Honor.
You haven't been threatened in any way, promised anything to get you to plead guilty?
No, Your Honor.
Are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sir, is it true that on July 28, 2022 in Huron Township, you allowed an unlicensed driver to drive?
Yes, Your Honor.
Satisfied, Ms. Foley Carter?
Satisfied, Your Honor. Thank you.
You're welcome. Satisfied, Mr. Hall?
I am, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Kyle, the court accepts your plea of guilty to the added count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive and will dismiss the original charge of driving while license suspended. Have you since cleared up your driving issues, your license issues, sir?
Your Honor, some are sort of more long-standing than he can clear up immediately. However, him and his grandfather are going to hire me to clear those up when he does become eligible under state law, which is going to be, several months from now, but we're making preparations already, first of which is remaining permanently sober. So Judge, we're going to get there and we're going to get to the time where we're going to do it. We just can't do it quite yet.
Understood. Thank you, Mr. Hall. Mr. Kyle, the court will impose the following. There's a fine of $100. There's cost of $100. There's $75 mandatory crime victims fee. There's $50 show cause fee. There is $100 in warrant fees, $10 administrative fee, $50 mandatory state costs, $20 fund fee. That's a total of $505. Sir, what the court is able to do is put you into a breakout room. There is a collections department clerk here available this morning. She can put these fines and costs into a payment plan with the 2 defaulted civil infraction citations. Is there anything else this morning, Mr. Hall?
Nothing further. That's exactly what you want to do, Josh.
Thank you. Mr. Kyle, the next thing you'll see is an invitation to go into the breakout room with Maria. Please go there with her. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you very much,
You're
Your Honor.
welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Foley Carter.
Good to see you, Mr. Hall.
You too.
These are 1-852-120-OT and 1-852-130-M. These are Huron Township versus Jimmy Mills. Your appearances, please.
Caitlin Foley Carter, on behalf of Huron Township, Your Honor.
Royce Nunley appearing on behalf of the defendant. Mr. Mills, please state your name for the record.
My name is Jimmy D. Mills.
Thank you, Mr. Mills. Today is the day and time scheduled for the arraignment and pretrial of these matters. Mr. Nunley, how are we proceeding?
The prosecutor has offered to dismiss the driving while license suspended in exchange for a guilty plea to failure to obey a police officer.
Thank you. Mr. Mills, raise your right hand for me, please, sir. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do, yes.
Thank you. You may put your hand down. Sir, you had the opportunity to speak to Mr. Nunley this morning, and you understand the charges you face and the possible penalties.
Yes,
And after having that conversation, sir, is your understanding and agreement that you will be tendering a plea of guilty in the file 5213, failing to obey a police officer, and the 5212 driving while license suspended will be dismissed?
yes,
And sir, you understand that if the court accepts your plea this morning, you will not have a trial of any kind.
yes,
You will not have the opportunity to present witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine witnesses put forth by the prosecutor.
yes,
And sir, you're entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
yes, I am.
You haven't been threatened in any way, promised anything to get you to plead guilty?
Nope,
Are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
yes,
Mr. Mills, is it true that on December 21st, 2018 in Huron Township, you failed to obey a directive from a police officer?
yes,
Satisfied, Ms. Foley Carter?
Satisfied, Your Honor. Thank you.
Satisfied, Mr. Nunley?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Mills, the court accepts your plea of guilty in the 5213 failure to obey a police officer and will impose the following fines and costs: $100 fine, $100 in cost, $75 mandatory crime victims fee, $50 mandatory state cost, $20 fund fee, and $50 bench warrant fee. That's $395. The driving while license suspended file is dismissed. Mr. Mills, do you need more than 5 days to pay $395?
no, I have one question though.
Yes, sir.
I went to the courthouse to pay to get my bench warrant removed, and you're telling me I have a bench warrant fee also on top of that fee? Because that was the fee I paid to get my bench warrant removed originally.
The fee is still there. It was the $150 bond that you paid to lift the warrants from the file. You won't be charged twice for the same warrant, sir.
Okay. Okay, so you said 300 and,
$95?
okay. No, I don't need more than
We
5
could-
days.
Okay. So the bond will be applied to the file and then 5 days to pay the balance? Is that okay, Mr. Mills?
Yes,
Okay, then that will conclude the matter. Mr. Mills, good luck to you, sir. You have a good afternoon.
thank you.
You're welcome. These are 24 HR 01297 A and B. These are Huron Township versus Shanice Eubanks.
Caitlin Foley Carter on behalf of Huron Township. I think it might have been Jeff's.
It was Jeff.
Okay.
Ms. Eubanks, when Mr. Bowditch comes back in this main session, I'll call these cases. This is 23 HR 13641. This is Huron Township versus Travis Bennett.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Caitlin Foley Carter on behalf of Huron Township, Your Honor.
Your Honor, respectfully, Sam Richardala, P62186, appearing on behalf of Mr. Bennett, who appears before you with no objections, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Bennett, state your name for me, sir, please.
Travis Lee Bennett.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Mr. Jadala, how are we proceeding with this pretrial?
Your Honor, at this time, after meeting with the city attorney and speaking with my client, he'd like to avail himself to the offer of pleading guilty to one count of operating while visibly impaired.
Thank you. Mr. Bennett, raise your right hand for me, please, sir. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. You may put your hand down. Sir, you've had the opportunity to speak to Mr. Jadala, and you understand the charges you face and the possible penalties.
I do.
And after having that conversation, sir, is it your understanding that you'll be tendering a plea of guilty this morning to the added count of operating while visibly impaired, and the original charge of operating while intoxicated will be dismissed.
Yes.
And sir, you understand that if the court accepts your plea this morning, you will not have a trial of any kind.
Yes.
You will not have the opportunity to present witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine witnesses put forth by the prosecutor.
Yes.
And sir, you're entering this plea freely and voluntarily.
Voluntarily.
You
Freely,
haven't been
freely,
threatened in
freely.
any
I'm
way,
sorry.
promised anything? I'm sorry, go
freely.
ahead, Mr. Bennett.
Freely.
You haven't been threatened in any way, promised anything to get you to plead guilty?
No, not at all.
Are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
Yes.
Sir, is it true that on December 28, 2023, in Huron Township, you were operating a motor vehicle while you were visibly impaired?
That is not true.
What is the truth, sir?
It was on August 22nd of 2023.
That is correct, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
August 22nd?
Correct.
I'm reading from the ROA and the citation. I'm not sure what happened. So let me ask it again, Mr. Bennett, is it true that on August the 22nd, 2023 in Huron Township, you operated a motor vehicle while you were visibly impaired?
Yes.
Satisfied, Ms. Foley Carter?
I am, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Satisfied, Mr. Jadala?
Satisfied, Your Honor.
Mr. Bennett, the court will accept your plea of guilty to the added count of operating while visibly impaired because this is a drinking and dismiss the original charge. Because this is a drinking and driving offense, the next step in these proceedings is that probation department will be in contact with you to schedule your interview. They are the ones that develop a sentence recommendation and schedule you to come back to court for sentence to be imposed. They will be in contact with you by email and by phone. Please respond to their efforts to be in contact with you, okay?
Okay.
Anything else, Ms. Foley Carter?
Your Honor, the only other thing, it looks like Mr. Bennett needs to be printed on this charge. I can send over a fingerprint order.
Thank you. Mr. Bennett, Ms. Foley Carter, the prosecutor for Huron Township will send over an order for you to be fingerprinted. Please go to the Huron Township Police Department, be fingerprinted in this matter. I'm asking that you have that done before you return for sentencing.
I will, but I have already been there to be fingerprinted prior, but I will go again. I don't know why they don't have that on file. That's where I was, you know, they put me in jail for a while there, and they fingerprinted me and took my picture and everything. So
That was an unrelated offense, Your Honor.
okay, I'm sorry.
Mr. Bennett, I appreciate you for being thorough and following up, but you will present to Huron Township to be fingerprinted for this case. Anything else, Mr. Jadala?
Nothing further, Judge.
Thank you. Mr. Bennett, you have a good day. I'll see you at sentencing, sir.
Okay, thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. This is a recall of 24 HR 01297 A and B. This is Huron Township versus Eubanks. Your appearances, please.
Your Honor, for the record, Jeffrey Bowditch appearing on behalf of and with Miss Eubanks. Miss Eubanks, could you tell the judge your name for the record, please?
Shanice Eubanks.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. Bowditch, how are we proceeding with this arraignment, pretrial, and pre-hearing?
Your Honor, as far as the arraignment waive form reading and stand mute, we've had a chance to pre-try this case, Your Honor. Miss Eubanks wishes to plead responsible to a double parking ticket with agreed upon assessed fine of $300, with the understanding the two original matters would be dismissed.
Thank you. Ms. Eubanks, you had the opportunity to speak to Mr. Bowditch this morning. You understand the charges you face and the possible penalties?
Yes.
And after having that conversation, ma'am, is your understanding and agreement that you'll be tendering a plea this morning of responsible to the added count of double parking and the driving while license suspended and the impeding traffic will be dismissed?
Yes.
And that's how you wish to proceed?
Yes.
Ma'am, the court accepts your plea of responsible to the added count of double parking and will dismiss the other matters as indicated. The court will impose a fine of $300. Do you need more than 5 days to pay this amount?
Yes.
Then, ma'am, the next thing you will see is an invitation to go into a breakout room with Maria. She is a member of this court's collection staff. She will help set a payment plan for $300 for the double parking. Anything else, Ms. Foley Carter?
Nothing, Your Honor. Thank you.
Anything else, Mr. Bowditch?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Eubanks, please go speak to Maria. Other than that, good luck to you, ma'am. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you. This is 21H000900AOT, Huron Township versus Romeo Wiggum. May I have your appearances, please?
Your Honor, for the record, Your Honor, Jeffrey Bowditch appearing on behalf of and Mr. Wiggum and stepping on the prosecutor's toes.
State your name for me, please, sir.
Romeo Wiggum.
Thank you. Today is the day and time scheduled for your pretrial. Mr. Bowditch, how are we proceeding?
Your Honor, we're going to waive the formal reading and stand mute. We've also had a chance to pre-try this case. Mr. Wiggum wishes to plead guilty to an added count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive a vehicle with the understanding the original charge would be dismissed.
Thank you. Mr. Wiggum, would you raise your right hand for me, please, sir? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. You may put your hand down. You've had the opportunity to speak to Mr. Bowditch this morning, and you understand the charges you face and the possible penalties?
Yes, ma'am.
And after having that conversation, sir, is your understanding and agreement that you'll be tendering a plea of guilty to the added count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive?
Yes.
And sir, you understand that if the court accepts your plea this morning, you will not have a trial of any kind?
Yes, ma'am.
You will not have the opportunity to present witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine witnesses put forth by the prosecutor?
Yes. Yes.
And sir, you're entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
Freely, I believe.
You haven't been threatened in any way, promised anything to get you to plead guilty?
No.
Are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
Yes.
Sir, is it true that on September 19, 2021, in Huron Township, you allowed an unlicensed driver to drive?
Yes.
Satisfied, Ms. Foley Carter?
Satisfied, Your Honor. And I would like to let the court know that he does now have a valid driver's license.
Thank you. Satisfied, Mr. Bowditch?
Satisfied, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Wiggum, the court will impose minimal fines and costs in this matter. It's a $100 fine. There's $100 in cost. There's $75 mandatory crime victims fee. There's $50 mandatory state cost, $50 show cause fee, $50 warrant fee, $20 fund fee. That's $445. Do you need more than 5 days to pay that amount?
Yes.
Then, Mr. Wiggum, when you leave the room you're in, exit to that door to your left, you can go around to the front counter. You can speak to someone in the collections department. They can help set a payment plan for you.
All right.
Anything
Thank you,
else
Your
in
Honor.
this case, Ms. Foley Carter? Nope. Anything else, Mr. Bowditch?
Nothing, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wiggum. You have a good day. Good luck to you, sir. You don't need to do anything to the computer. The court staff will come reset it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
To the gentleman in the black ski cap and the glasses, A, take your hat off because this is court. B, I need you to unmute yourself and state your name so we can get you labeled properly.
Levon Odom, sorry about that.
No worries, Mr. Odom.
Right.
Yeah. Mr. Odom, did you want to speak to a court-appointed attorney this morning to assist you with these matters?
No, I don't.
Okay, then, Mr. Odom, what we'll do is get you into a room with the prosecutor to discuss these matters. When you come out, I will call the cases and we'll see how we'll proceed this morning, okay?
Sounds good, thank you.
Thank you.
Judge, we're trying to get him in to speak with the clerk. Sir, do you see an invitation to join a breakout room?
Let me see. I'm not very savvy. Yeah, I don't see it.
I'll try it again.
This is 23 HR 12010A. This is Huron Township versus Michael Blade. This case was scheduled at 8:30 for show cause arraignment. Pretrial is now 9:27 by the court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear, bench warrant shall issue 5,010%. Two-four HR 008930M, Blue, Huron Township versus Blue Marketing. This case was scheduled for arraignment pretrial at 8:30. It's now 9:28 by the court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear, the court checking the breakout sessions, there being no one by that name. Bench warrant shall issue 5,010%. These are 24 HR 00928, A, B, and C, and D. These are Huron Township versus David Taylor. May I have your appearances, please?
Leland Foley Carter on behalf of Huron Township, Your Honor.
Royce Nunley on behalf of the defendant. Mr. Taylor, will you please state your name for the record?
David A. Taylor.
Thank you. Today is the day and time scheduled for the pre-hearing and the arraignment pretrial in these matters. Mr. Nunley, how are we proceeding?
For purposes of the arraignment, we waive a formal reading and stand mute. Purposes of the pretrial, Ms. Coley-Carter has agreed to dismiss to reduce the driving while license suspended to allowing an unlicensed driver to drive and to dismiss the other 3 charges.
Thank you. Mr. Taylor, would you raise your right hand for me, please, sir? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give in these matters will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. Sir, you have the opportunity to speak to Mr. Nunley this morning. You understand the charges you face and the possible penalties.
Yes.
And after having that conversation, sir, is it your understanding and agreement that you'll be tendering a plea of guilty to the added count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive in the original misdemeanor of driving while license suspended, along with the civil infractions of the registration or plate violation, and no proof of insurance, and the speeding will be dismissed?
Yes.
And sir, you understand that if the court accepts your plea this morning, you will not have a trial of any kind.
Yes.
You will not have the opportunity to present witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine witnesses put forth by the prosecutor.
Yes, ma'am.
And sir, you're entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
You haven't been threatened in any way, promised anything to get you to plead guilty?
No.
Are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor, is it true that on January 23rd, 2024 in Huron Township, you allowed an unlicensed driver to drive?
Yes, ma'am.
Satisfied, Ms. Foley Carter?
Satisfied, Your Honor. Thank you.
Satisfied, Mr. Nunley?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Nunley, is there anything before fines and costs are imposed in this matter? Mr. Nunley?
I'm sorry, nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Taylor, the court will impose the following. There's a fine of $100, there's cost of $100, there's $75 mandatory crime victims fee, there's $50 mandatory state costs and $20 fund fee. That's $345. Do you need more than 5 days to pay this amount?
No.
Then, sir, 5 days to pay. The civil infractions are dismissed. The plea is to allowing an unlicensed driver to drive. That concludes this matter. You have a good day. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Go on. Am I all set?
You're all set.
You're all set, sir. Have a good day.
All right, thank you.
Two for HR 00974OT, Huron Township versus Ahmed Sabata.
Ready, Your Honor. Your Honor, for the record, Jeffrey Bowditch appearing on behalf of and with Mr. Sabata. Mr. Sabata, can you tell the judge your name for the record, please?
My name is Ahmed Sabata.
Thank you, sir. Your Honor, today's date and time set for arraignment. We've waived formal reading and stand mute. We've also had a chance to pre-try this case. Mr. Sabata wishes to plead guilty to an added count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive his vehicle with the understanding the original charge would be dismissed.
Thank you. Sir, raise your right hand for me, please. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I swear.
Thank you. You may put your hand down. You had the opportunity to speak to Mr. Bowditch this morning. You understand the charges you face and the possible penalties.
Yes.
And after having that conversation, it's your understanding and agreement that you will enter a plea of guilty to the added count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive and the original charge will be dismissed.
Yes.
And you understand that if the court accepts your plea this morning, you will not have a trial of any kind.
Yes.
You will not have the opportunity to present witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine witnesses put forth by the prosecutor.
Okay.
And sir, is it true that on January 25th, 2024 in Huron Township, you allowed an unlicensed driver to drive?
Yes.
The court accepts your plea of guilty to the added count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive and will dismiss the driving while license suspended. The court will impose the following. There's a fine of $100. There's cost of $100. There's $75 mandatory crime victims fee. There's $50 mandatory state cost and $20 fund fee. That's $345. Do you need more than 5 days to pay that amount?
Yes, please.
Then, sir, what we'll have you do is move into the collections room. There is a representative from the collections department. Her name is Maria. She will put you on the payment plan. Is there anything else, Mr. Bowditch?
Yeah, nothing, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
luck to you, sir. Have a good day.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Mr. Bazey, good morning, sir. What are you here for?
Good morning, Your Honor. I'm here for Albert Dahili.
Have you already spoken to Ms. Foley Carter?
Yes, I had a plea. I think she's probably bringing it in right now.
This is 24HR 01398, Huron Township versus Alpendi. Al-Bahidi.
Good morning, Your Honor. Hassan Bezzi, P7844 on behalf of Mr. Abedili. I had a chance to talk to the prosecutor, Your Honor. They are reducing this to a limited access. I believe it's 6 to 10. That's the one pointer.
And sir, you have your client's authorization to enter a plea of responsible on his behalf.
I do, Your Honor.
The court accepts the plea of responsible to the limited access 1 to 6. Oh. No, 1 to 5, I'm sorry. It's 1 to 5. $130. Does your client need more than 5 days to pay?
Judge, just in case, can we just have 2 weeks, but I'll have them pay it as soon as possible.
14 days. Anything else this morning?
No, I appreciate Your Honor. Nice seeing you. Thank you, Junior.
Thank you. Have a good day. Mr. Bowditch, were you expecting somebody out here with you? You're muted, sir.
My apologies, Your Honor. No, Your Honor.
Oh, okay.
There was no one in my waiting room.
This is 23HR12340C. This is Huron Township versus Albert Flanagan. The case was scheduled for arraignment pretrial at 8:40. It's now 9:39 by the court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear. This case already being in warrant status, it will stay that way. This is 21HR01973B, Huron Township versus Shane Hayes. This case was scheduled at 8:40 for arraignment pretrial. It's now 9:40 by the court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear. Case being in warrant status, it will stay that way. There is someone in this court's main session who is labeled only as Motorola Moda Stylus 5G 2023. The court has made repeated requests to have them turn their video on. They're not responding. There is no audio connected. The court has no way to identify this person or get them moved into being prepared to speak to a clerk or to a court-appointed attorney. Thank you. There was 23 HR 13896 OD Huron Township versus Brooks Post. It appears that this person retained counsel on the 16th and the case was adjourned to 3/14. These are 24 HR 00927 A, B, and C. These are Huron Township versus Roman Annual. Sir, take your cap off. Your appearances for the record, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. Royce Nunley appearing on behalf of the defendant. Sir, would you please state your name for the record?
Roman Annual.
Thank you. Mr. Nunley, how are we proceeding this morning?
Purposes of the arraignment, we would waive a formal reading and stand mute. Ms. Coley Farter has agreed to dismiss the 2 civil infractions, the no insurance and the registration plate violation, in exchange for a guilty plea to the driving while license suspended charge, which my client would like to accept that offer.
Thank you. Sir, raise your right hand for me, please. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. You may put your hand down. You had the chance to speak to Mr. Nunley this morning, and you understand the charges you face and the possible penalties.
Yes, ma'am.
And after having that conversation, it's your understanding and agreement that you'll be tendering a plea of guilty as charged as relates to the driving while license suspended, and that the civil infractions of the registration or plate violation and no proof of insurance will be dismissed.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you understand that if the court accepts your plea this morning, you will not have a trial of any kind.
Yes, Your Honor.
You will not have the opportunity to present witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine witnesses put forth by the prosecutor.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you're entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes, ma'am.
You haven't been threatened in any way, promised anything to get you to plead guilty?
No, Your Honor.
Are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
Yes.
Sir, is it true that on January 23rd, 2024 in Huron Township, you were driving while your license was suspended, revoked, or denied?
Yes.
Sir, the court accept your plea of guilty as charged to driving while license suspended. The 2 civil infractions are hereby dismissed. The court will impose, have you since resolved your license issue, sir?
I'm trying. It's just I have to pay off an old debt because of an accident where my insurance had lapsed in 2020. But besides that, I'm just waiting for my privileges to get I don't know how to say it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, you're saying it right.
Okay.
The court will impose the following, sir. There's $100 fine, there's $100 in cost, there's $75 mandatory crime victims fee, $50 mandatory state cost, and $20 fund fee. That's $345. Do you need more than 5 days to pay this amount?
Yes, it'd be great if I could just have like a week. I get paid this week, but most of that money is accounted for from bills, but next week I could pay it all.
Then, sir, what I will say is 14 days to pay. You can pay online or you can come in person to the court, okay?
Okay.
If there's nothing else, you're free to go. You have a good day. Good luck to you.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome, sir. Two, 4 HR 01216 A, B, C, D, and E. These are Huron Township versus Odom.
Yes,
Sir,
ma'am.
please state your name for the record.
Levon Odom.
Mr. Odom, the way that you're labeled now indicates that you're waiving your right to have the assistance of the court-appointed attorney in these matters. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Have you had a chance to speak to the prosecutor, Ms. Foley Carter?
I sure did.
Ms. Foley Carter, how are we proceeding in these matters this morning?
Yes, Your Honor, we'll be amending the drug while license suspended to allow an unlicensed driver to drive. Mr. Odom does now have a valid driver's license. In exchange, we will be dismissing all 4 civil infractions.
Thank you. Mr. Odom, raise your right hand for me, please, sir. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. You may put your hand down. Sir, is it your understanding and agreement this morning that you'll be tendering a plea of guilty to the added count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive and the original driving while license suspended, along with the speeding, the no proof of insurance, and the registration or plate violations will be dismissed?
Yes, ma'am.
And sir, you understand that if the court accepts your plea this morning, you will not have a trial of any kind.
I understand.
You will not have the opportunity to present witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine witnesses put forth by the prosecutor.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're entering this plea freely and voluntarily.
I am.
You haven't been threatened in any way, promised anything to get you to plead guilty.
No, ma'am.
Are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
Yes.
Mr. Odom, is it true that on January 29, 2024 in Huron Township, you allowed an unlicensed driver to drive?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, the court will accept your plea of guilty to the added count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive and dismiss the original misdemeanor and for accompanying civil infractions. Is there anything that you want to say before fines and costs are imposed in this matter?
No.
And sir, the court will impose the following. There's $100 fine, $100 in cost, $75 mandatory crime victims fee, $50 mandatory state cost, and $20 fund fee. That's $345. Do you need more than 5 days to pay that amount?
I was hoping to add it to my payment plan.
We will add it to your existing payment plan, but I will have you go into the breakout room with Maria from the collections department, and she'll just go over it with you, but it will be added to the existing plan. Is there anything else, Mr. Odom, before you leave this main session?
No, that's it. I appreciate your time.
I appreciate you for being so persistent and getting connected. You have a good day.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you. Ma'am with the black jacket, black t-shirt on.
Yes.
Unmute yourself, please. Ma'am, court staff is trying to get you moved around. We need to get you labeled so we can get you in either to speak with the court-appointed attorney or speak with the prosecutor, okay?
Okay.
Ma'am, I'm sending you an invitation. I've sent several invitations for you to join the breakout room. You need to accept that, please.
Okay, where is it?
I don't know what kind of device you're on. If you tap on your screen, it should hopefully pop up.
All I see is a safety saver. I mean, a public survey. What? Yeah, you see it.
No.
I was busy doing nothing. We were broke. Checking on me. I'm trying to kill you. What? I need your phone. No, Brandon. I don't see anything. No.
You're trying.
I'm not alone. Where did he go?
I think Andy must have grabbed him.
Oh, I don't, but see, I don't know if she has a video. If you don't have a video and people can't see what you're trying to communicate, they're sitting there thinking everything is fine. These are 24HR009, excuse me, 24HR00894 A, B, C, and D. These are Huron Township versus Sarah Rutkowski. These cases were scheduled for pre-hearing and arraignment pretrial at 9 a.m. It's now 9:54 a.m. by the court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear, the 2 misdemeanor cases will be set for show cause, and the 2 civil infractions will be deemed in default. These are 24HR00867 A, B, and C, Huron Township versus Mario Salinas. The cases were scheduled for arraignment pretrial and pre-hearing at 9 a.m. It's now 9:57 a.m. by the court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear as directed by the court, the 2 civil infractions will be deemed in default. The B file, which is the misdemeanor, will be set for show cause. These are 24HR00912 A, B, and C. These are Huron Township versus Ariana Lowry. The cases were scheduled for arraignment, pretrial, and pre-hearing at 9:10 a.m. It's now 9:58 a.m. by this court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear as directed by this court, the A file, which is the civil infraction, will be deemed in the, the A file, which is the misdemeanor, will be set for show cause, and the B and C files, which are the civil infractions, will be deemed in default. These are 24HR 00639 A, B, C, and D. These are Huron Township versus Gary Radcliffe. Sir, please state your name for the record.
Gary Radcliffe.
Mr. Radcliffe, the way the court staff have you labeled indicate that you're waiving your right to have the assistance of the court-appointed attorney this morning. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Have you had the opportunity to speak to the prosecutor, Ms. Foley Carter?
I have.
Ms. Foley Carter, how are we proceeding?
Your Honor, the people will be amending the driver's license suspended to an allowed unlicensed driver to drive and dismiss the remaining counts. It's my understanding that Mr. Radcliffe, withstanding this incident, does have an opportunity to go before the DLAD board and does intend on getting his driver's license back.
Thank you. Mr. Radcliffe, raise your right hand for me, please, sir. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you, sir. You may put your hand down. Sir, you've had a conversation with the prosecutor this morning, and it's your understanding and agreement that you'll be pleading guilty to the added count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive, and the no proof of insurance, the ignition interlock, and the speeding, and the driving while license suspended would be dismissed.
Yes.
Sir, when we were here back on February 20th, it was your indication to the court that you were going to retain counsel. Have you since changed how you wish to proceed in these matters?
I have.
Sir, you understand that if the court accepts your plea this morning of guilty to the added count of allowing the unlicensed driver to drive, you will not have a trial of any kind in these matters?
I do.
You will not have the opportunity to present witnesses on your own behalf or stand cross-examine witnesses put forth by the prosecutor?
I do.
And sir, you're entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
I am.
You haven't been threatened in any way or promised anything to get you to plead guilty?
I have not.
Are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
I am.
Mr. Radcliffe, is it true that on January 15, 2024 in Huron Township, you allowed an unlicensed driver to drive?
I did.
Satisfied, Ms. Foley Carter?
Satisfied, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Radcliffe, the court will accept your plea of guilty to the added count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive. Will dismiss the other outstanding matters, the 2 civil infractions and the other misdemeanor. Was there anything before the court imposes fines and costs in this matter, sir?
There is not.
Then, Mr. Radcliffe, the court will impose the following: a fine of $100, cost of $100, their $75 mandatory crime victims fee, $50 mandatory state costs, $20 fund fee. That's $345. Do you need more than 5 days to pay that amount, sir?
I can get up to the 34th district and pay that, I believe, this Friday.
That puts us within the 5 days to pay. Is there anything else, Mr. Radcliffe?
There is not.
Thank you. That concludes these matters, sir. You are free to go. Good luck to you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
These are 22H. These are 22HR 06221B, 24HR 01194, A, B, and C. These are Huron Township versus Collins. May I have your appearances for the record?
Royce Nunley appearing on behalf of the defendant, Letitia Collins. Ms. Collins, please state your name for the record.
Latasia Collins.
Thank you, Ms. Collins. Mr. Nunley, how are we proceeding in these matters?
There has been an offer put forth by the prosecutor to plead guilty to the 2024 driving while license suspended in exchange for dismissal of all the other charges, the 2 civil infractions and the 2022 driving while license suspended.
Thank you. Ms. Collins, would you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give in these matters will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you, ma'am. You may put your hand down. Ma'am, you've had the opportunity to speak to Mr. Nunley this morning, and you understand the charges you face and the possible penalties.
Yes, I do.
And after having that conversation, ma'am, it's your understanding and agreement that you'll be tendering a plea of guilty as charged to the driving while license suspended in the 2024 case.
Yes.
And ma'am, you understand that if the court accepts your plea this morning, you will not have a trial of any kind.
Yes, Your Honor.
You will not have the opportunity to present witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine witnesses put forth by the prosecutor.
Yes.
And ma'am, you're entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
You haven't been threatened in any way, promised anything to get you to plead guilty?
No, I have not.
Are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Collins, is it true that on January 29, 2024 in Huron Township, you were driving while your license was suspended, revoked, or denied?
Yes, Your Honor.
Satisfied, Mr. Nunley?
Satisfied, Your Honor.
Ma'am, Ms. Collins, the court will accept your plea of guilty as charged to the driving while license suspended from 2024, dismiss the 2022 driving while license suspended along with the 2024 civil infractions. Mr. Nunley, was there anything before fines and costs are imposed in this matter?
I would leave it to the discretion of the court, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Collins, the court will impose the following. There is a fine of $200, cost of $100, $75 mandatory crime victims fee, $50 mandatory state costs, and $20 fund fee. That's $445. Do you need more than 5 days to pay that amount, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor. Is there a payment plan option?
There is a payment plan option, and ma'am, you have some other outstanding, well, you have one other outstanding matter with this court, a speeding ticket from 2022. There's a collections clerk on this call, on this Zoom session right now. She will be able to put a single payment plan in place for both cases, this case and the 2022 speeding ticket.
Okay, Your Honor.
So please go into the breakout room with Maria. She will set you up on a payment plan. If there's nothing else, good luck to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. Burns, the prosecutor is not in this session right now. When she comes back, I will get your matter called so you can get on with your day, but unless that, I'm gonna ask you remove that cap from your head.
Sorry about that.
No worries. Ms. Johnson, as soon as Mr. Bowditch comes back, I'll recall your case.
Okay, is it possible I can get off and call my supervisor, because I am at work right now?
You want to log off and call your supervisor and come back?
Yes.
Okay,
Or can I
then
just
when you
send her
come
a quick
back,
text?
whatever you need to do with work is fine, but when you come back, please sure that you're connected audio and visual. That's what the holdup was before.
Oh, okay. Wait, can you see me now, or?
I can see you now, but what I'm saying is when you came in before, court staff spent time trying to get you connected. So I'm just saying, when you
Okay.
come back, be sure that your audio and visual is connected.
Okay, give me 1 second. I'm about
Thank
to see if
you.
I can detect her.
Good morning, Mr. Barron.
Good morning.
How are you, sir?
I'm wonderful, thank you.
What are you here for?
The pre-formal for Kurt Stafford. I just spoke with Ms. Foley Carter, and I am accepting responsibility to an amended count of double parking on his behalf.
The plea information I have is double parking with a fine of $200. Is that correct, sir?
That is correct.
Plea of responsible is accepted to the double parking on behalf of your client, $200 fine and cost. Does your client need more than 5 days to pay?
5 days should be fine.
Anything else?
No, thank you. Good to see you.
Good to see you. That concludes this matter. Have a good day, sir.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you. These are 24HR 00998 A and B. These are Huron Township versus Marcus Harris. These cases were scheduled for arraignment, pretrial, and pre-hearing at 9:20 a.m. It's now 10:10 a.m. by the court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear as directed by this court, the A file misdemeanor will be set for show cause. The B file will be deemed in default. These are 24HR 01180 OT, 24HR 01456 A, B, and C. These are Huron Township versus Marshall Burns. Mr. Burns, please turn your video on, unmute yourself, and state your name for the record. Unmute yourself, Mr. Burns, and state your name for me, please.
My name is Marshall Burns Jr.
Thank you, Mr. Burns. Today is the day and time scheduled for your arraignment, pre-trials, and pre-hearings. The way the court staff have you labeled indicate that you're waiving your right to have the assistance of the court-appointed attorney this morning. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you had the opportunity to speak to Ms. Foley Carter, the prosecutor for Huron Township?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Foley Carter, how are we proceeding?
Your Honor, Mr. Burns will be pleading guilty as charged. The drug license suspended associated with ticket number 24HR 01180. And then on the ticket number 24HR 01456 A, B, and C, the people will be moving to dismiss the drug license suspended and the speed. He'll be pleading responsible to the CPL failure to disclose first offense.
Thank you. Mr. Burns, raise your right hand for me, please, sir. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. You may put your hand down. Sir, is it your understanding and agreement that you'll be tendering pleas of guilty of this morning to driving while license suspended and responsible to failing to disclose CPL to a police officer?
Yes, ma'am.
And sir, you understand that if the court accepts your plea this morning, you will not have a trial of any kind?
Yes, ma'am.
You will not have the opportunity to present witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine witnesses put forth by the prosecutor?
Yes, ma'am.
And sir, you're entering these pleas freely and voluntarily?
Yes, ma'am.
You haven't been threatened in any way or promised anything to get you to plead guilty.
No, ma'am.
Are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
Yes.
Mr. Burns, is it true that on February 4th, 2024 in Huron Township, you failed to disclose to law enforcement officer when you encountered them that you had a concealed pistol on your person?
Yes, ma'am. I
Or is
didn't.
it also, go
I
ahead.
didn't. Yeah, I didn't like when she first pulled me over. I didn't tell her until like she put me in handcuffs and put me in the back of the car. Then I thought about it like I forgot I got my gun with me. So
Mr. Burns, thank you for that explanation. Is it also true, sir, that on January 27th, 2024, again in Huron Township, you drove a motor vehicle while your license was suspended, revoked, or denied?
yes, ma'am.
Satisfied, Ms. Foley Carter?
Satisfied, Your Honor, thank you.
Mr. Burns, the court will accept your plea of responsible to the failing to disclose the CCW and guilty to the driving while license suspended. The other driving while license suspended along with the speeding citation are dismissed. Sir, for the civil infractions CCW violation, the court will impose a fine of $180. For the driving while license suspended, sir, have you since resolved your driving issue, your license issue?
I'm in the process of doing that right now.
Okay. Sir, for the driving while license suspended, the court will impose the following. It's a $200 fine, there's $100 in costs, there's $75 mandatory crime victims fee. There's $50 mandatory state costs and $20 fund fee. That's $445. So, sir, the total fines and costs this morning is $625. $625. Do you need more than 5 days to pay those amounts?
No, ma'am.
5 days to pay. Mr. Burns, anything else?
No.
Thank you, sir. Good luck to you. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. These are 24HR01218 A, B, and C. These are Huron Township versus Johnson.
Ready, Your Honor. Your Honor, for the record, Jeffrey Bowditch appearing on behalf of and with Ms. Johnson. Ms. Johnson, can you tell the judge your name for the record, please?
My name is Karen Johnson.
Thank you, ma'am. Your Honor, today is a date and time set for arraignment. We waive formal reading. We're also going to adjourn this matter. There is a matter Ms. Johnson needs to take care of, and we want to adjourn this to give her time to do that. And she will appear in court in a better light.
Thank you. Ms. Johnson, in the interim, your bond in this case is set at $1,000 personal. You do not need to post any money, but what you must do is appear as directed by the court.
Okay.
That adjourned date will be
March 14th at 10:30.
Okay.
You'll get a notice, ma'am.
Okay, so do I have
Ms.
to appear in court?
No, ma'am. You may appear by Zoom. The notice will be mailed to you at the address you verify with court staff. But what I will ask is that when you appear on March the 14th at 10:30 a.m., you'll be back here in courtroom number 1. I would ask that you be prepared for your case to be called, which means audio connected, video on, and not smoking. I know because you appear remotely, people tend to forget this is court, but this is actually court.
Okay.
If there's
I
nothing else, I'll
apologize.
see you on March the 14th.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right.
I apologize, Your Honor. What time was that? 8:40?
10:30.
Oh, 10:30. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Sudet.
Ready, Your Honor. Your Honor.
For HR 01229 A and B, Huron Township versus Terrell Suggett.
Your Honor, for the record, Jeffrey Bowditch appearing on behalf of and with Mr. Suggett. Mr. Suggett, could you tell the judge your name for the record, please?
My name's Terrell Suggett.
Thank you, sir.
Suggett, my apologies, Mr. Suggett.
It's okay.
Your Honor, today is the date and time set for an arraignment in this matter. Waive formal reading and stand mute. We've also had a chance to pre-try this case, Your Honor. In this matter, Mr. Suggett wishes to plead responsible to an added count of double parking with an agreed upon assessed fee of $300 with the understanding the two original charges would be dismissed.
Mr. Suggett, you had the opportunity to speak to Mr. Bowditch this morning. You understand the charges you face and the possible penalties?
Yes, ma'am.
And after having that conversation, sir, it's your understanding and agreement that you'll be pleading responsible to the added count of double parking and the original charge of violation of the instructional permit and the speeding would be dismissed?
Yes, ma'am.
And that's how you wish to proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, the court accepts your plea of responsible to the double parking, will impose the fine of $300 as previously indicated by Mr. Bowditch. Do you need more than 5 days to pay that amount, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Then, sir, the next thing you'll see is an invitation to go into the breakout room with Maria. She is a member of this court's collection staff. She'll speak to you and put you on a payment plan. Is there anything else, Mr. Bowditch? He's gone, sir. So follow the invitation to go into the breakout room with Maria. She'll take care of the payment plan, sir.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Mr. Suggett.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Mr. Callahan and Ms. Moylan, it appears that Mr. Mays is speaking with the prosecutor, so sit tight. When he comes out, I'll get your cases called so you can get on with your day. And Mr. Bowditch, I'm stepping off for the slightest of moments. If you have something else to attend to, please go attend to it.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Stop picture.
These are 24HR 014444 A and B, Huron Township versus Kelvin Flagg. Your appearances, please.
Hi,
Good morning, Your Honor. Royce Nunley appearing on behalf of the defendant, Mr. Flagg. Will you please state your name for the record?
Kelvin Flack.
Thank you, Mr. Flagg. Mr. Nunley, how are we proceeding this morning?
Your Honor, so Mr. Flagg has accepted the offer by the prosecutor for dismissal of the limited access speeding ticket in exchange for a plea to driving while license suspended. However, Mr. Flagg, I guess, went yesterday and he paid the fine associated with the speeding ticket. It was approximately $180. So we were wondering if the court knew of a way in which we could set maybe aside that speeding ticket and apply the amount that he's paid towards the fines and costs associated with the driver driving while license suspended.
If he paid it yesterday, the court was closed, which means he paid it online,
Yes.
which means that it might not appear as of yet. Give us a second.
That's correct, Judge.
It does not appear as of yet?
It does not.
So, Mr. Nunley, I know what they have done before is stop the application of the payment. So, Mr. Flagg, let's do this. Raise your right hand for me, please. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. You may put your hand down. You've had the opportunity to speak to Mr. Nunley this morning. You understand the charges you face and the possible penalties.
Yes, ma'am.
And after having that conversation, is your understanding and agreement that the speeding ticket, if there is an admission of guilt, that will be set aside and the $180 will be refunded, that you'll be pleading guilty to the driving while license suspended?
Yes, ma'am.
And sir, you understand that if the court accepts your plea of guilty this morning, you will not have a trial of any kind?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
You will not have the opportunity to present witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine witnesses put forth by the prosecutor.
Understand.
And you're entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes, ma'am.
You haven't been threatened in any way or promised anything to get you to plead guilty?
No, ma'am.
Are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Flagg, is it true that on February 3rd, 2024 in Huron Township, you drove while your license was suspended, revoked, or denied?
Yes, ma'am.
The court will accept your plea of guilty to driving while license suspended. There's a notation in the civil infraction file that payment's being rejected and the civil infraction is being dismissed. Anything before fines and costs are imposed in this matter, Mr. Nunley?
I'd leave it to the discretion of the court, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Flagg, the court will impose the following: a fine of $200. There's cost of $100. There's $75 mandatory crime victims fee, $50 mandatory state cost, $20 fund fee. That's $445. Do you need more than 5 days to pay that amount?
Yes.
Then, Mr. Flagg, the next thing you'll see is an invitation to go into the breakout room with Maria. She is a member of the court's collection staff. She will help set a payment plan in this matter. Is there anything else, Mr. Nunley?
Nothing further, Judge.
Mr. Flagg, go speak to Maria. Other than that, have a good day. Good luck to you. And 86 and a 70 is never acceptable. These are 24HR00628 A and B. These are Huron Township versus Patrick Callahan. Your appearance, please.
Yes. Can you hear me?
State your name for me, sir.
I'm
Yes,
sorry,
sir.
Patrick
Oh.
Richard Callahan.
I'm sorry, Mr. Callahan. Looks like we just lost Mr. Mays.
Okay.
Where did he go? I'll come back to you when you.
Okay. You want me to mute myself or leave
Please,
it?
thank you.
Okay.
I looked away for 1 second, Marianne, and he was gone. Shoot. These are 24HR01301 A and B, Huron Township versus Robert Russell. Mr. Russell, please state your name for the record, sir.
Robert Russell.
Mr. Russell, the way the court staff have you labeled indicate that you're waiving your right to have the assistance of the court-appointed attorney this morning. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, you've had the opportunity to speak to the prosecutor, Ms. Foley Carter.
Yes.
Ms. Foley Carter, how are we proceeding?
Your Honor, it sounds like the plate violation was a snafu on Secretary of State's end, so the people will be moving to dismiss that. As far as the limited access speed 1 to 5 over, we'll be amending that to double parking with a fine of $200.
Mr. Russell, were you able to hear Ms. Foley Carter just now?
Yes.
Sir, was it your understanding and agreement that the plate violation would be dismissed and you'll be pleading responsible to double parking with a fine of $200?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, the court accepts your plea of responsible to the double parking, assesses the fine of $200, and will dismiss the registration or plate violation and the speeding citation. Do you need more than 5 days to pay the $200?
I do not.
5 days to pay the $200. That resolves this case, sir. You're free to go. You have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you. These are 24 HR 01501 A and B. These are Huron Township versus William Chernick. Please, sir, turn your video on, unmute yourself, state your name for the record.
William Chernick.
Thank you. Sir, the way court staff have you labeled indicate that you're waiving your right to have the assistance of the court-appointed attorney this morning. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Have you had the chance to speak to the prosecutor, Ms. Foley Carter?
Yes, I have.
Ma'am, how are we proceeding this morning?
Yeah, Mr. Chernick did have a valid driver's license at the time of the offense, so we'll be dismissing the no ops on person. It's my understanding he advised me that he paid the impeding traffic violation. I don't know if we're in that little in-between stage where it's not showing up yet, but I know that that's his intention.
Sir, when did you pay the impeding citation?
I did pay it yesterday, and I just heard you previously say, I know you guys were closed yesterday, so there may be some snafu there where it doesn't show, but I do have email confirmation that I could send over if that's needed.
Mr. Chernick, as long as it's your indication that you're pleading responsible to the impeding, we would just let that payment go through with, is that how we're proceeding this morning?
That is, Your Honor.
Okay. Then, sir, although we don't see it as of yet, the expectations that it will appear, and if it does not appear, then the court staff will be back in contact or communication with you. But just so we have a clean and clear record, Mr. Chernick, is your desire this morning to plead responsible to the citation for impeding traffic?
Correct.
And sir, the court accepts your plea of responsible to the citation, will impose the regular fine of $180. Notation in the file that there is a payment outstanding that will satisfy that fine. Is there anything else, Mr. Chernick?
No, Your Honor.
Then that concludes this matter, sir. You're free to go. Have a good day.
All right, you too. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Suggett, was there something else?
Your Honor, he hasn't met with collections yet.
He has not gone. Oh, then let's get him. She's in her room. Sir, we'll get you moved in with Maria.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Foley Carter, was it your impression that Mr. Mays was in another courtroom, maybe another courthouse?
That is correct, Your Honor. He was in Wyandotte. I know that he was waiting to go on the record, so it might be just a second for him to come back.
Okay. What happened? Oh. These are 24 HR 01027 A, B, C, D, E, F. These are Huron Township versus Jimmy Lewis. These cases were scheduled for arraignment, pretrial, and pre-hearing at 9:20 a.m. It's now 10:34 a.m. by the court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear, the A file misdemeanor will be set for show cause. The B through F files, which are all civil infractions, will be deemed in default. Mr. Bowditch, our last misdemeanors that were not retained were scheduled at 10:20. It's now 10:37 by the court's clock. Anyone who appears at this time will be deemed untimely and either defaulted or set for show cause. So unless there's anything else, sir.
Nothing, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bowditch. Have a good day.
Thank you.
These are 24 HR 01049 A and C. These are A, B, and C, my apologies. These are Huron Township versus Lauren McFarland. These cases were scheduled for pre-hearing and arraignment pretrial at 9:20 a.m. It's now 10:38 a.m. by the court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear, the B file misdemeanor will be set for show cause. The A and C file will be deemed in default. These are 24 HR 01197 A, B, C, and D. These are Huron Township versus Larissa Hardesty. These cases were scheduled for arraignment, pretrial, and pre-hearing at 9:30 a.m. It's now 10:39 by this court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear, the C file misdemeanor will be set for show cause. The A, B, and D files, which are civil infractions, will be deemed in default. Yes, Mr. Nunley.
Are we waiting for anybody else, or do you guys want me to leave?
I never want you to leave, sir, but no, we have nothing else that will require MIDC this morning.
Okay. Well, thanks. I'll see you next time then.
Have a good day.
You too.
These are 24 HR 01215 A, B, and C. These are Huron Township versus Chanel Hudgens. These cases were scheduled for arraignment, pretrial, and pre-hearing at 9:30 a.m. It's now 10:41 a.m. by the court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear as directed by this court. The A file misdemeanor will be set for show cause. The civil infractions B and C files will be deemed in default. These are 24 HR 01159 A and B. These are Huron Township versus Brittany Barber. These cases were scheduled for pre-hearing and arraignment pretrial at 9:40 a.m. It's now 10:43 a.m. by this court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear. The A file, which is the misdemeanor, will be set for show cause. The B file will be deemed in default. Just lingering out in the hallway. I'm on to you. These are 24 HR 01181 A, B, and C, Huron Township versus Eric Jett. These cases were scheduled for pre-hearing and arraignment pretrial at 9:40 a.m. It's now 10:44 a.m. by the court's clock. Defendant has failed to appear as directed by this court. The A file, which is the misdemeanor, will be set for show cause. The B and C file, civil infractions, will be deemed in default. These are 24HR 011708 B and C. These are Huron Township versus Robert Takis. These cases were scheduled for arraignment, pretrial, and pre-hearing at 9:40 a.m. It's now 10:45 a.m. by the court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear. The A and C file, civil infractions, will be deemed in default. The B file, misdemeanor, will be set for show cause. Good morning, Andy.
Good morning.
Good to have you back.
Yes, thank you, Judge. I appreciate that. Looks like we're all set.
We are. Thank you so much for your help this morning.
Yeah, no problem.
These are 24HR 01211 A, B, C, and D. These are Huron Township versus Esther Angelus. These cases were scheduled for arraignment, pretrial, and pre-hearing at 9:50 a.m. It's now 10:47 a.m. by the court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear. The A file will be set for show cause. The civil infractions, the B, C, and D files will be deemed in default.
I'm looking her up, Judge.
No, I have the files right here. I know exactly who she is. Ms. Hardesty, please turn your video on, unmute yourself, state your name for the record.
Larissa Hardesty.
Ma'am, today was the day and time scheduled for your arraignment, pretrial, and pre-hearings. Your cases were scheduled at 9:30. The court called them at 10:39. It is now 10:49 a.m.
Yes, ma'am. I was trying to get a hold of the courthouse to get the ID number. I did not have the ID number, and I could not get a hold. There was 25 callers ahead of me. I was on the phone for 40 minutes, and I just got through, and I apologize for that.
Ma'am, we have already released the court-appointed attorneys for the day. What we are able to do is reset these matters. Mary Ann, is there space on March 14th?
Yes, ma'am, at 10:30.
I'm sorry, did you say 10:30?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, your cases will be reset for March the 14th at 10:30 a.m. It's back on this same Zoom ID. Court staff will mail notice to you at the address that we have on record if you are still on Fort Street.
Yes, ma'am.
Then I will see you back here on March the 14th. Other than that, have a good day.
Okay, thank you. You too.
Thank you. 25 callers. Wow. These are 24HR 01370 A, B, and C. These are Huron Township versus Lil Raymond Malone. These cases were scheduled for arraignment, pretrial, and pre-hearing at 10 a.m. It's now 10:52 a.m. by this court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear, the A and B files, which are the civil infractions, will be deemed in default. The C file misdemeanor will be set for show cause. These are 24HR 01427 A, B, and C. These are Huron Township versus Destiny Gamble. These cases were scheduled for arraignment, pretrial, and pre-hearing at 10:10 a.m. It's now 10:54 a.m. by the court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear, the A and B files, which are civil infractions, will be deemed in default. The C file misdemeanor will be set for show cause. 24HR 01412A, Huron Township versus Gonzalez. This case was scheduled for arraignment pretrial at 10:10 a.m. It's now 10:55 a.m. by the court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear, this matter will be set for show cause. These are 24HR 01435 A and B. These are Huron Township versus Larry Harvey. These cases were scheduled for arraignment, pretrial, and pre-hearing at 10:10 a.m. It's now 10:55 a.m. by the court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear as directed by this court, the A file civil infraction will be deemed in default. The B file misdemeanor will be set for show cause. These are 24HR 01372 A and B, Huron Township versus Thomas Racho. These cases were scheduled for arraignment, pretrial, and pre-hearing at 10:10 a.m. It's now 10:56 a.m. by the court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear as directed by this court, the A file civil infraction will be deemed in default. The B file will be set for show cause. These are 24HR 01443 A, B, and C, Huron Township versus Matthew Crursell. These cases were scheduled for arraignment, pretrial, and pre-hearing at 10:20 a.m. It's now 10:58 a.m. by the court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear. The A file, which is the civil infraction, will be deemed in default. The B and C files, which are misdemeanors, will be set for show cause.
Yes.
This one they pled to, and this one, they have a third party poster on it. Oh, and I wrote reply bond.
I
don't know, we can.
As a third part, I don't know.
Thought we had to get their permission to do that.
Oh, okay, I don't know.
I thought.
I'll ask Andy.
Okay.
Okay.
And do me a favor, that one on the left is yours. Would you take that back out? Those are for Mackenzie.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm in myself, thank you. Mr. Mays, good morning, sir. Welcome back.
Good morning. Sorry about that, Your Honor.
No worries. I just got to the end of the defaults and failures to appear. This is 24HR 00628 A and B. These are Huron Township versus Patrick Callahan.
Good morning, Your Honor. William Mays on behalf of Mr. Callahan. Mr. Callahan, unmute yourself and state your name, please.
Patrick Richard Callahan.
And Your Honor, the offer from the prosecutor today is operating while visibly impaired. Last night, I went over Mr. Callahan's rights with him, as well as what the maximum possible penalty for impaired driving is. And it's my understanding that he's going to take advantage of the prosecutor's offer and tender a plea of guilty to the added count of operating while visibly impaired, with all the other charges being dismissed.
Thank you. Mr. Callahan, raise your right hand for me, please, sir.
Yes.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. You may put your hand down. Sir, you had the opportunity to speak to Mr. Mays, and you understand the charges you face and the possible penalties.
Yes, I do.
And after having that conversation, sir, is it your understanding and agreement that you will be tendering a plea of guilty to the added count of operating while visibly impaired and the original charge of operating while intoxicated, and the civil infraction of driving left of center will be dismissed?
Yes, ma'am.
And sir, you understand that if the court accepts your plea this morning, you will not have a trial of any kind.
Yes.
You will not have the opportunity to present witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine witnesses put forth by the prosecutor.
Yes, I understand.
And sir, you're entering this plea freely and voluntarily.
Yes, I am.
You haven't been threatened in any way or promised anything to get you to plead guilty.
No, I have not.
Are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
Yes.
Mr. Callahan, is it true that on January 15, 2024 in Huron Township, you operated a motor vehicle while you were visibly impaired by some intoxicant?
Yes.
Mr. Mays, would you like to inquire further of your client?
No, I'm satisfied, Judge.
Ms. Foley Carter, are the people satisfied?
The people are satisfied, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Callahan, the court accepts your plea of guilty to the added count of operating while visibly impaired. Will dismiss the operating while intoxicated and the driving left to center. Because this is a drinking and driving offense, the next step in these proceedings is that you will be referred to the probation department. They will send out forms for you to complete and schedule an interview. They will develop a sentence recommendation and schedule you to come back to the court for sentencing. Please respond to their emails and their phone calls. Is there anything else, Ms. Foley Carter?
Nothing, Your Honor. Thank you.
Anything else,
I-
Mr. Mays?
Yes, Your Honor. There's a few dates where Mr. Callahan needs to go out of state. His daughter is in, what is it, collegiate sports of some sort where she leaves the state?
Yes, she plays softball at Central Michigan, and it's her senior year.
I would ask that he be granted permission to leave the state to attend these games as long as he's remaining alcohol free and not getting in any other trouble while these things are going on, Your Honor.
Any objection, Ms. Foley Carter?
No objection, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Callahan, you may leave the state to attend the games of your daughter and otherwise remain compliant with the terms of your pretrial release.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Anything else, Mr. Mays?
No.
Thank you. Mr. Callahan, good luck to you. I'll see you for your sentencing.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. This is 24HR 00813 A and B. These are Huron Township versus Olivia Moylan. May I have your appearances, please?
Good morning, Your Honor. William Mays on behalf of Ms. Moylan. Olivia, unmute yourself and state your name, please.
My name is Olivia Moylan.
Thank you, Ms. Moylan. Mr. Mays, how are we proceeding?
I'm asking for an adjournment on this so that Ms. Moylan and I can go through her discovery. I think we're inclined to file motions on this case. I did meet and discuss the case with Ms. Foley Carter this morning, and at this point, there's not a resolution.
Mr. Mays, how long of an adjournment do you believe is necessary?
Oh, I'm ready. I got the discovery a week or so ago. I've gone through it all. I just need to speak with Ms. Moylan to see if she wants to pursue motions or if we want to take some sort of resolution.
Mary Ann?
March 14th at 10:40.
Let me just double check that if I could, please, real quick. That'll work. Thank you very much, Your Honor.
I will see you on March the 14th at 10:40 a.m. Ms. Moylan, notice will be mailed to you at the address we have on record. Have a good day, ma'am.
You too.
Thank you,
Thank
Judge.
you.
It was a night.
Mr. Mays, no, don't leave. No, no,
Okay.
hold on one
Oh,
second.
we got.
Yeah, hold, Mr. Mays, give me 1 second. We have Mr. Lowry, I believe. Scott Lowry is 22HR 1150560, excuse me, Huron Township versus Scott Lowry.
And William Mays on behalf of Mr. Lowry.
There were actually two files. One was not on the docket for some reason. It's 22HR 13214. I have not seen him, operate, hold on. Prosecution has moved to dismiss 560.
That's right.
And then there was a reckless driving case.
Mm-hmm.
The dismissal is contingent on pleading guilty as charged to the reckless driving, Your Honor.
And so I don't know if
Since he's not
Mr.
here.
Lowry. Yeah. So I thought we were just going to do the dismissal, but I can hang up and try to get a hold of Mr. Lowry and have him zoom in. Or if you want, put this over to the 14th, Judge. There's no real urgency with this because he did take a plea down in 33rd District Court, and that's proceeding on schedule. It's just really just a matter of housekeeping to, get the reckless on the record in exchange for the dismissal of the drunk driving. So.
I'm sorry, one is contingent upon the other?
No, he's pled in 33rd.
No.
Yeah.
Is the dismissal of the operating while intoxicated contingent upon the plea on the reckless?
It is, Your Honor.
Oh.
So I would
I'm
just.
sorry, Mr. Mays, he's not here because what?
I don't know if he got notice. He was living at one house, now he's at the other house and all sorts of drama. But he is in compliance down at 33rd, I think, right? Caitlin,
There was a snafu, but
was
there
there?
was.
Then, Mr. Mays, I'll make a note in our file that he has failed to appear, but what we will do is reset this matter for March the 14th at
At the same time, Judge, 10:40.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
anything else, Mr. Mays?
No, thanks again, Judge.
Have a good day, sir.
You too.
Mr. Mays,
Thank you.
I gotta say that mustache is phenomenal.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
No problem.
You guys have a good one.
You too. It looks like Heather mailed out the notices, so I will give these back to you, Mary Ann. Two 30790 OM. This was Huron Township versus Matthew Myers. This case was scheduled today as a show cause for the defendant's failure to appear to be fingerprinted, as was directed back on November the 2nd, 2023. Show cause was scheduled at 10:50. It's now 11:14 by this court's clock. Do you have any information regarding this matter, Ms. Foley Carter?
I do not, Your Honor.
Bench warrant shall issue 5,010% for failing to appear and be fingerprinted as directed by the court and failing to appear for the show cause to explain why he had not yet been fingerprinted. The last thing on this court's docket for the day is 23HR 01792A. This was Huron versus Randasha Diamond. This case was scheduled for a formal hearing this morning at 11 a.m. It's now 11:14 a.m. by the court's clock. The court will note that the officer who issued the citation is here ready to proceed. Ms. Foley Carter, your position this morning.
Your Honor, the people move for a default. This is the second time that Officer Nolly has appeared on this case.
Thank you, ma'am. The clock just rolled over to 11:15. This court's policy is 15 minutes after the scheduled start time. We are there. The defendant has failed to proceed to appear as directed. Default shall enter in this matter. Anything else, Ms. Foley Carter?
Nothing, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Officer Nolly. That concludes this court's docket for the day.
You're welcome, Your Honor. Have a good one.
Thanks, Officer.
You too. We stand adjourned. Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks, Mary Ann.
See you, Caitlin. Have a good day.
You too.
Is that it, Judge? Can I take a